What's up, Dragon Brood? So today we have a fun deck. We're kind of rounding out our series of decks from things we saw over the weekend in the Players Tour final. Today we have a MARDU WINOTA deck played by Maichael Jacob, who actually made the top 8. So we definitely get to see this deck again next weekend on the weekend of August 1st. Played in the top 8 and we'll get to see how it does. But it's a pretty interesting build. So before we take a look at this deck, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell just to help me out and reward me for bringing you these decks and doing this research. But let's hop right into it and go take a look at this deck. Okay, so we're taking a look here at this deck that's actually playing Giganta. Now, you do have it as an option, you don't often want it, but it is cool to have there as a bonus card because we don't need all 15 sideboard slots, I guess. One of the interesting things you're going to see about this deck list, though, is that this seems very well thought out, and there's a lot of odd, like, 1s of this and 3s of that, but obviously he did well with it, so he put a lot of thought into how this should be constructed, which I think is very interesting. So going down the list, you've got 4 Selfless Saviors, 1 Knight of the Ebon Legion, 4 Raise the Alarm, 3 Kitesail Freebooters, 3 Lazotep Reaver, 1 General's Enforcer, 3 Woe Strider, 3 Judith the Scourge Diva, 1 Tajik, interestingly 4 Basri's Lieutenant. And this seems kind of silly, but when you think about if you get one of these free with WINOTA, that goes a long way toward helping you establish and keep your board. And if nothing else, making sure you can just keep attacking. If you have a second WINOTA, that gives you a night creature that isn't technically a human, which could also be very good. Then we have full set of WINOTAs, the namesake card for the deck, 4 Venerated Luxodons, 2 Plains, 1 Swamp, a Castle Embereth, 2 Mountains, Godless Shrines, 1 Temple of Silence, full set of Blood Crypts, Sacred Foundries, Savai Triomes, 1 Temple of Triumph, 1 Fabled Passage. So this is a long list with a bunch of odd 1s and 2s. It also has a lot of rares in it. So it's not something I can really tell people just, hey, go out and build this. You're definitely going to need some wild cards. There's a few rotating cards, I guess, because you have Judith and you have like Venerated Luxodon, which could be a problem. So really need to think about those if you're going to build this deck or not. Sideboard, Giant Killers, Devout Decree, Blight Beetle, Eliminate, the other Freebooter, Noxious Grass, D-Spark, General's Enforcer, 2 War Boss, 1 General Kudro, and King Kenny. So it's a very interesting sideboard. Gives you a lot of flexibility. It's very cool. Should be able to be very quick to come out of the gates. It doesn't, if you notice, it doesn't play any removal cards. These are all creatures. So they're just focusing on just coming out and getting the job done. Should be a whole lot of fun. But let's get into the arena and see how it does. Okay, this hand's interesting. We kind of have to keep it. But triple freebooter I don't think is where you generally want to be with this deck. Pretty certain that's true. We only have 2 lands, but we do have the ability to cast everything at this point, which is very awkward. But, you know, let's just take our time, see if maybe we top deck land, and see if this WINOTA does something. Oh, so we're playing against that, huh? Well, the Stoven's Veto doesn't do much because it only targets non-creature spells. Shark Typhoons are annoying, and they can play Teferi the following turn. So, like, yeah, we'll just take a Shark Typhoon. And get in there. I mean, we could try to take Teferi the next turn, then Nissa the next turn. Like, I don't know. Alright, we get to see what that new card is. Probably something else we don't greatly care about. So yeah, I guess we'll just stick with our plan and take the Teferi.
I suppose that's how it was meant.
I mean, if they do find a green land, they could play a 1/1 Graces, but we don't really care about that. Not that we could take it anyway. I mean, Freebooter has to be a non-creature spell. Alright. Alright, well, that was enough for the opponent to scoop. We just stripped their hand down. Do we keep... I mean, I guess we keep this? I'm not excited by it. I feel like we have to do this, which is very disappointing. But I think I'd want to go ahead and play the Lazotep Reaver here. Because it does give us 2 creatures. I mean, we do still need to find a red... Oh, and of course, now we found that. I guess it's fine, though. We wouldn't have been able to play it anyway. So if we get a land now, next turn, we can actually play Venerated Luxodon after cashing in this Raise the Alarm, which is very cool. Look at it, just like clockwork. Go ahead and make a bunch of +1/+1s on these knuckleheads. Now if we get a land, Winota gets to go off for a ton. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triggers on turn 4. This is kind of nice. I almost feel bad for my opponent if we draw a land here. An untapped land anyway. With our luck, we'll draw like Savai Triome or something. Nope. You know what? Here, I'm going to attack with this, this, this. Because then we can raise the alarm and this and then play that. Yeah, it seems fine. Not completely sure what the opponent's doing here. Changed my mind. I think I'm going to hold... No, that's not true. I'm going to go ahead and play this. Because if the opponent does decide they want to sweep the board or something... This makes the most sense. I mean, because this is already a ton. I mean, that's 6, 10, 13, 16. I mean, that's lethal. They'll have to put something in the way here. But I did this in case they decide to, like, wipe the board or do something. We could use Selfless Savior to at least save a 4/4. Instead of getting our whole board wiped. However, though, we're just going to draw an untapped land here and then go bonkers, right? Oh, we didn't. We failed. I don't really mind, though. Let's go ahead and just attack. And there's no point dedicating anything else to the board here. Because we have Beyond Lethal. So during their end step, we could just raise the alarm if we want to. Alright, Molder Hulk, you're not really going to get it done. You are not it, Chief. Sure. Yeah, exactly. Alright, we're going to keep this one for sure. Not only that, we also drew the Castle Embereth, which is kind of nice here. So, even if we don't get anything to pump our creatures, we don't get anything to trick creatures into play, we do still have ways to get damage in. So we like that. We really like that option. This gets us 2 creatures, which we like. Also sets us up that if we can get a 1-drop, we can turn this into a 2/2 next turn. So we dig that. Only shocking us, which is interesting. I guess they're gonna... Yep, makes sense. Means we took kind of minimal damage on this turn, so we like that. I like that a lot. As they say, we definitely don't hate it. So I'm going to do this just so we can make better use of our mana next turn and play either 2 of those or Lazotep Reaver, you know. Attack with these, going to let us pump this creature up from the Mentor so it becomes a 2/2. Then the opponent's here faced with just a little Torch Courier that can't do a whole lot. We know what's in the opponent's hand. Those aren't really creatures we're afraid of here. Unless it's like double First Strikers or something. But they're going to have to play these exiled cards so they don't go to waste. which it looks like that worked out great for us. So we'll definitely take that exchange. We're going to go ahead and play another Lazotap Reaver, because that turns this little Amass zombie into a 3/3. And then we're going to get in there with this, this, and this. Mentoring the one thing we can to be a 2/3. And this puts a lot of pressure on the red deck here. I mean, this is one of those situations that even if they draw an Embercleave, we don't really care. We only kind of care if they draw a TCGPlayer. But they're also low enough that they can't really afford to all-out attack. If they take an Alpha Strike, they may just die on the return. As we have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Plus this is going to pump one, so that's 12. They'd have to stop 5 damage to not die. Embercleave really matters not to the whole equation. We're at 15. They can't do nearly enough with that. So we're feeling pretty good. Could be a false sense of security, but it felt good. We'll see how it ends up. Well, the opponent's roping. I guess they're trying to figure out what to do. An axe? Is an axe going to be enough for them? Let's draw Winota just for show, deck. Let's draw Winota just for show. I mean, attacking is bad for the opponent here, but maybe they do it anyway. Sure, I mean, we'll definitely block. I mean, it's possible they just feel they need to raise the alarm, or not raise the alarm, light up the stage. You know, because getting the one creature that doesn't block, like, we don't really care. Opponent's at 7. They block our biggest 3. They would take 2, 3, 4. Alright. Well, like I said, Winota, for show. We'll put this away. Come on, deck. That's not how we do that at all. Not even a little bit. Oh, I guess it doesn't really matter because we have this also. I guess it depends on if we want to use Tajik or not. Huh. Alright, well. Let's do it. Opponent only has 3 blockers. So, I mean, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 once we pump. So that should do it. And let the opponent make their blocks. That's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is exactly. So we will go ahead and let that Tajik die. And we'll just be okay with this outcome. Alright. Alright. We're going to keep this as we have mana to do all the things. All the things being a turn 1 play and a turn 2 play. This unfortunately comes into play tap, so it's going to throw us off a little bit. But I think we're okay with that. There's also a chance we draw an untapped land, and that just changes everything anyway. Has an Arboreal Grazer that goes and gets a... Alright. So following the trend of seeing lots of blue and green cards, not a surprise. Go ahead and play this freebooter. See what we find. Well, this is not great. We don't want the opponent playing instant speed Shore Sharks against us. That is like the opposite of what we want. Alright, Goose it is. Yep, working out stuff. Definitely getting Shore Shark next turn. But, you know what? There's not a lot we can do about it. I assume the opponent is not going to block here. Let's go ahead and just play this. Unfortunately, they can Pouncing Shore Shark with Flash, so we have to be careful. Alright, we did not find the Winota. So what I would like to do here is just play this. And then I'm actually going to play this untapped, so we'll have the ability to cycle. But it also functions as a threat here with our Knight of the Ebon Legion. Though I have to admit, I did consider doing this so we could leave cycle mana open. Alright, opponent wants to return. What card? I just want to return that to my hand. Okay. If we're going to do that, then I'm just going to make the opponent find more cycling things. I mean, more mutate things. And I'm just going to play this. And then this way we can just attack with some stuff. Why not? Sure. That doesn't really do a whole lot to us here. Makes sense. I think at this point we just have to hope they don't have another Shore Shark. Because they would be able to play that instant speed, which could be bad for us. That getting picked up. I think we're fine with that. Though I'm thinking about sacrificing it so we can search. I feel like, though, we'll just let that resolve. We're okay with that. Because getting the ability to replay that is pretty significant. Oh, the opponent's getting aggressive here. They're just saying just take the 4, homie. Alright, fair enough. We're going to go ahead and sack this goat token. That is not what we're looking for. Now we take our turn. That was also not what we were looking for. Oh, this is not working out, is it? I think here we attack. I mean, if they have another Shore Shark, they just start wrecking our board anyway, right? So I think we have to do the one thing we can do. Let's go tap this. Tap this. Tap this. 3, 4, 5. I mean, I'm kind of going to sack this to search, though. But I sort of want to have another blocker. Oh, I can't. It has to be... Okay, well, that tells me everything I need to know. And it didn't bounce anything. So, do we just go on the logic it's not a Shore Shark in their hand? I think that's what we're going to do. It's going to end the turn. Alright, so I don't know what that last card is, but I'm going to assume it's not Shore Shark. So it would have been too easy of a block for the opponent, I think. Pass. We will block. You know what? I am going to block. If the opponent has something, so be it. Oh, okay. That's weird. I almost double blocked, but that's fine. I'm good taking 5 here. Not that. I mean, we could also sacrifice the Selfless Savior, but that's not what we're in the market for right now. Ugh. Gross. It's not what we want at all. Alright, so let's get in there for this. This. Nope. Let's say this. 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 And we'll leave these two threats. Actually, you know what? Let me leave... I actually can't do that. We really only attack with these two, because if we play another Shore Shark, you could bounce the two big things, and then we have to chump to not die, which is unfortunate. So let's just do that. If they just have one mutate thing, that's not nearly scary. Alright, that's it. Well, somehow we survived that. Alright, this is almost as good as we can hope for. We're going to have to just need to draw that Winota, I mean the fourth land for Winota, off the top of the deck. I think the plan here, though, is raise the alarm first. Well, maybe not. Thought that was going to be the idea, but let's go ahead and freeboot her first. Get a good look at what the opponent's working with here. Oh, well, if that's the case, let's stunt all that progress. I would really like to have some non-humans attacking here, but the opponent really doesn't have much. Best they can do is play the Risen Reef next turn, which we're kind of okay with, so let's just do this. I mean, I figure worst case scenario, if we don't draw the land, then we'll just play Judith and really just try to put the opponent in a situation. We did draw the land though, so it's party on Wayne, party on Garth. Here we go. We will take a Bozer's Lieutenant. I guess we put a counter on target creature control. I mean, we can put it on that so they don't have any good blocks, which is kind of silly, but yeah, man. I really should just put it on Winota, but that helps too. So that was pretty good. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, so I guess you can see the power of this deck. I mean, whether we're playing against aggro decks, where we can just kind of gum up the board, or you just want to come out aggressive against the slower decks, or even the Reclamation decks, where they need turns and turns to set up, it's kind of interesting. You know, I think I would want a couple of cards different as far as card choices, but overall, the deck actually works as is. And obviously, Michael Jacob was onto something here. This is pretty neat. I mean, it doesn't have any Ember Cleaves or anything like that, which I would like, but the question is, does it need it? I don't know. I mean, does it want more Knight of the Ebon Legions? Possibly, but it's getting by on what it's doing, and just like you saw in those games, even when you don't draw Winota, there's still some pretty powerful things that X doing, so I dig it. I appreciate it. It's kind of nice. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this. It's kind of a wild build, but obviously he was able to navigate 16 rounds of play, 14 rounds of play, and make his way to the top 8, and it'll be interesting to see how he fares next weekend, after people have more time to test their versions of the deck against this. But remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for me and help me out. And that's all I have for you today. We'll see you next time.